It worked. It's
There it
recording.
is.
Okay.
Hey,
Yay. So
working.
hello everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight for Shminterview. I'm with the incredibly talented Wes Tank, who has been kind enough to lend one of his enchanting videos to Amherst Ballet for us to create a hip hop piece on. Um, that has already been enjoyable, even though the process hasn't even really started yet, because part of it involves my having to learn hip hop to teach
Oh
to
wow.
teach some of the younger dancers who are going to be acorns, because acorns,
Whoa.
yeah, the really little ones, I'm just gonna turn them into little acorns and make them do hip hop with sunglasses on. So that means that I have to learn some of the steps to teach them. So
That's
it's
so
it's already
cool.
going to be fun. But anyway,
Oh, I
so
can't wait. That's
um,
awesome.
so I'll get started with some of the questions I have. So the first one is pretty simple. So what inspired you to begin rapping children's stories?
Well, I started initially because I just happened on a copy of One Fish, Two Fish before a show. I was just gonna play um a a basement show up. It was like a party show. And I do original songs and stuff, and normally, that's all I would do, but I just found a copy of One Fish, Two Fish on the floor and picked it up and had a Dr. Dre beat on my phone and spontaneously started rapping it in the middle of my set, and the crowd kind of went bananas for it. So I was
That's so cool.
like, oh, there's something there. So I started trying more I'm not sure where I was when we
So you were
froze.
saying that you spontaneously added a children's rap song into your normal set and that the crowd really liked it.
Yeah, that's basically how it happened, and then I just started doing that more and more with other books and making them into songs, and it started to be something that I incorporated into my act, and then I started doing full sets that were just children's books that were specifically for children um, audiences.
Mhm.
And so that's basically how it
And
kind of
how did you
happened.
find these children? Were they were they family members, or
Gather
or did
around,
you go to
children.
outreach
um
programs at schools, or
right, a place reached out to me called Bookworm Garden, book themed botanical garden, and they asked me to come there and perform children's books, and so I started doing it there. Then I started doing it at schools, and kind of word of mouth started going around doing that. And I hadn't been doing it too much, really, pre-pandemic. I had sort of stopped performing a little bit and was focusing more on filmmaking and stuff, but I knew I had these Dr. Seuss books and songs that I hadn't ever recorded. And so when pandemic hit, I was sort of faced with like, what should I do with my time right now while there's no work?
yeah,
And so I just decided to do record those videos, and then
yeah,
I just on a whim decided to film myself doing it,
yeah,
and turn it into a video rather than just an album or something.
yeah. That's so cool. Um, so let's see. I'll go back to my questions. Okay, so you sort of answered the second question already. You were already a musician
Oh,
and you were
yeah.
already rapping. I see.
Yep.
Uh, oh yeah. So what role has acting played in your life, and what sorts of
um
roles do you normally gravitate towards?
well, I let's see. So I act in different films and stuff, like independent movies and stuff. And I used to do theater back in the day. I've always been a performative person, like since I was a little kid. um I when I was in fourth grade, this is something that I just remembered that this even happened recently. My teacher would actually like we had like milk break. Do you remember milk break?
I think so, yeah.
Did you have that? Um, and during milk break, she created like a specific like performance time for me because I was always asking to perform, I guess.
That's
And
so cool.
that was actually where I did my first rap,
Ah,
which was a rendition of John Denver's
wait, sorry, we froze
Zoo.
again. So it was a rendition of John Denver's which song?
It's called Grandma's Feather Bed.
Oh,
And now that I've remembered that I did that, I'm probably gonna have to make a
yeah.
new cover of that.
That's amazing. I
But,
haven't heard
I
that
would
one.
do, yeah, but I would do other things like I wrote to acting when I was in college and stuff. I did a lot of theater and acting for my friends' movies and stuff, which I still do a lot. I actually just got off acting a week ago on a friend's feature film where I played a security guard.
How was that? Was it as cold as you had feared?
Oh my goodness, it was so cold.
Oh no.
It was so cold, and we had to film overnights. So it
Oh
was
my
like
goodness.
from
Outside.
5 p.m. until 5 in the morning
Oh my goodness.
outside. And yeah,
Brutal.
it was brutal, but it was good. I think that, hopefully that pain is it shows up on the screen,
Yeah.
as a strength.
Oh yeah. Pain is always good for your art. Always.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah. So I was just wondering what your upbringing was like. Are you from Milwaukee or?
I'm from Wisconsin. I grew up in a town called Dodgeville, Wisconsin, which is a very small town in southwestern Wisconsin, and I moved to the big city of Milwaukee. I grew up like my dad was a teacher. My sisters ended up becoming teachers, and so it was a lot of like education in my family, and like a lot of like books were always really prominent.
I see. So
It
you
was
came from a
always,
family that appreciated culture and all of that. That's very cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and especially books and just appreciating books. And like when I would ask, if I would ask my dad for can I get a toy or something, he would be like, well, no, but you can get a book. And I'd be like, all right. I'll accept that.
So you were always an avid reader, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. And did you
It
have
was.
favorite authors growing up?
Yeah. I mean, I learned I learned to read like with Dr. Seuss and stuff, but I loved Peanuts, and I loved Shel Silverstein, and I really remember those kind of leaping off the page at me. Um and then I kind of, when I started getting into chapter books, I really loved Louis Satcher. uh he
Oh,
was he wrote Wayside School is Falling Down,
oh,
and
that
he
sounds
wrote a
familiar.
lot of like young adult fiction. So he was kind of the first author that I really like started to understand, like that authors wrote like different books, and some of his characters would show up in like other stories and stuff. So
I see.
he kind of created a little bit of a world like that,
Hmm. Hmm.
and so that,
Yeah,
yeah, as a kid, that's what I was into that.
I see. Cool.
And I
Um,
still read a lot to this day. So
good for you. I was always into really kind of dark stuff for whatever reason. I was like 10
oh yeah.
and reading Waiting for Godot, and just
Whoa,
really,
wow.
yeah, really and trying to understand it, but
That's advanced.
I'm not sure there's a way you can understand that stuff when you're that little, but I certainly tried.
Well, absurdist. I think kids like get like the absurd realm. Like
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
they take it at face value.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving right
They might
along.
not. Then you might not understand, or maybe you did, but maybe like understanding the deeper levels of something
Yeah.
isn't always as important as like the immediate like
Yeah.
impact that the words have.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I may not have picked up on cultural references and stuff, but
Sure.
I definitely understood the idea of waiting for something that was probably never going to arrive.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, um so book lovers are often characterized as introverts. Do you identify as one, or?
I think that I'm an extrovert when I'm on camera or on stage,
Mhm.
and pretty much all the rest of the time I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like to, be alone and be in my head and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and need a lot of alone time. But then when I'm on stage, then like, you know, you know, at least try to be entertaining.
Right. Yes.
So I
Yeah, I can
guess.
relate to that quite a bit. I think as a performer in ballet for most of my life, I always thought of it kind of like a sponge. Like I needed a lot of time to sort of absorb stuff so that I
Yeah.
could go out onto the stage, and it's like an input output thing and hopefully give something of value to people. So I do
Yeah,
understand, I
totally.
think.
That
Um,
makes a lot of sense.
uh, let's see here. Oh yeah. So I just noticed that some people in the comments were comparing you to a sort of modern day Mr. Rogers, and I was wondering how you felt about that.
Well, I definitely love Mr. Rogers and respect his work, immensely. That's a very big cardigan to fill, I will say. And I guess I just hope that I can be like as sincere as Mr. Rogers, as Fred Rogers, and that I can just be a helper
Hmm.
that he mentions.
You seem to be very much so.
Do
Um,
my best.
and then oh yeah, I mean I had to ask about Reading Rainbow. I grew up watching Reading Rainbow, and I loved
Yeah.
it. Is that something you grew up watching?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I mean, and like I would say the animation style in Reading Rainbow, like the way they would kind of pan across books,
Hmm.
is really like while LeVar Burton's talking or reading the book, it would just kind of like go. It wasn't like a cartoon. It wasn't fully animated, but it was just kind of the camera would sort of float over the book
Yeah.
like that. That is like absolutely like the style that I'm trying to do with my videos and
Hmm. Hmm.
stuff when I.
So you think that's preferable to full on animation?
I mean, it's what I'm capable of
Well, I think it
animation
works
wise.
really well
Yeah,
because then, from a viewer's perspective, there's still um, your imagination, you leave room for the
yes,
imagination. Whereas
totally.
the animation sometimes can sort of do that stuff for the viewer. So I really like
Oh
that
yeah,
style.
yeah, 100%. It's like it's definitely that's part of, and not just like overstimulating
Yeah,
with imagery.
yeah. My Zoom has decided to freeze about every 7.5 seconds, but I'm just gonna roll with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's
I
fine.
apologize for that.
I'll just do
Um,
this sometimes, like.
yeah, just work it into exactly. Yeah, I'll try to do the same. Okay, moving right along. Can't read my own writing. Oh, so in your opinion, Why do you think that reading and literature is important for children?
Well, just like you just said, like it really stimulates the imagination, and it obviously there's like a learning component, like you're soaking in what you're reading. It's kind of going in directly, and I think there's like a really great calming effect that it has. I think that's why we do bedtime stories before bed.
Yeah,
It just kind of calms your mind and kind of like takes your mind into dreamland, and does it in a very like, you know, just like seamless way. It just kind of, takes you into that. And so it can stimulate your imagination, and inspire you. It's just books are great.
yeah, agreed.
you know
Um,
Make you feel things.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. Um, oh yeah. So is StoryRaps, I guess you sort of answered this already. For some reason, I was under the impression that StoryRaps happened because of the pandemic and quarantine. Um, do you think it would have happened otherwise?
Well, yeah, I mean, like basically, before StoryRaps, I was doing a lot of video work for like nonprofit and community organizations and stuff. And then I did the Seuss videos, and after I did the Seuss videos, Cadoodle TV reached out, and they were, over the moon about what I was doing and wanted me to develop a show for them. So it was kind of like, it took steps
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
And so, I mean, would it have happened without the pandemic? I mean, maybe not. Like, I was headed in a very different direction. Although I feel like it came full circle, because I realized that like what I was doing was actually like the mission of my company is to, help the common good through media.
mm,
And I didn't always like equate my performance work with helping the common good, but
mhm,
it was more just like my hobby or something that I love to do.
mhm, mhm.
And but because of Cadoodle TV, and because of being able to reach people through these rap videos for kids, um I was able to reach a lot of families, and
Yeah,
kids and parents that just
yeah,
seem to love to watch the videos together. And
mhm, yeah.
like for instance, I talked today, I had a little Zoom call with a 7-year-old autistic girl who is apparently my number one fan, and
Oh,
is I'm her imaginary friend.
oh my goodness.
So we apparently, like, we go on the monkey bars together. I'm present
Oh,
at dinner, and
oh my goodness. Wow.
so cute, so cute. She was getting every single book off the shelf to show me every book that she owned. And you
Oh my
know and
goodness.
and
How sweet is
and
that?
and her parents were used to it, were able to, and her therapist were able to use my videos as like a reward for doing her activities that they needed her to do to
Yeah.
learn and stuff. So like when I see things like that, when I get to talk to people like that, I'm just like, wow, this really is something that helps people, and it helps
Yeah.
me keep going to do it. And even, and people like yourself who were inspired to make a ballet based around one of my videos, is like the most touching thing. Like, it's just like, wow, it's so cool
I
that you do
especially
that.
love that the sky is falling video. It's just so
Oh,
uplifting,
thank you.
whether or not it's meant for children or whatever. I can watch it and I always feel better afterwards. So yeah, you're
Yeah.
definitely affecting people in a positive way. It's great.
Thanks. Well, that was really meant to be as some sort of a response to 2020, and you know, letting people know, like I'm going through what you're going through. Like we're all in it together, and
Yeah.
and it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
It's we have to believe that.
Yes.
Even though it's hard, it's like, as long as you keep your eye on that North Star, whatever you choose that is,
Yeah,
and work your way towards it.
absolutely. Yeah, that definitely comes across in it very clearly. Um, Getting down to the last couple of questions. Oh yeah, so and you've already sort of answered this question also. What are your hopes? Um, what would you like viewers to take away from your show? And what are your hopes for the series in general?
Well, like I hope that it inspires them in some way. um I hope that it gives you ideas to make your own art. And I really I really just want to keep making them, and keep growing. And
Mhm.
um we have a lot of ideas, for bigger shows that we want to make. And we have a lot of big ideas. And I've kind of been cultivating a team that is really awesome, and they keep me motivated, and we all motivate each other. And I think that it's uh it's definitely something that I feel a calling to. And especially, after I talked to that little girl today, I'm just like, wow, like this is like important to some people.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
makes me feel, even if oop, did we freeze?
Yes, but we're back.
Oh, okay. We're I mean, we want to do like a live version of Story Raps.
That would be
We
so
want
cool.
we just moved into this children's museum, and we're in kind of like a theater space there. And so I think we're gonna be doing some live streams. I already do live streams with my Patreon.
Mhm.
And But hopefully we'll start opening that up to wider audiences, and
That would be amazing.
eventually bringing in live studio audience, people
Hmm.
that can see it. And maybe I'll
Yeah.
get to go on tour one day,
Yes, that
when
would
all
be
that's
so
safe.
cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So,
All right, and my last sort of three-part question, and I'm afraid we're gonna get cut off in about 2.5 minutes.
oh
um,
oh
I so feel free to make it brief, but you don't have to. So I was wondering what if you've ever received, like your best piece of advice, the worst piece of advice you've ever gotten, and if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
I mean, when I was a little kid, I remember my Uncle John told me to just keep making art, because I was really into. I know that's like pretty simple, but that's probably the best advice I could have ever received. Um, I don't know of any my worst advice. I've been racking my mind trying to think of
That's
that.
good. That's all right. You don't have
Yeah,
to have an
I mean,
answer
there's
for that.
nothing that like really jumps to mind. Um, but I guess I would just tell artists, to keep making art. And I
Good
would I
advice.
would say, follow your passion projects, because that's do the work that you want to do, because that is what is going to, like, if it takes off, that could be the thing that you do. Like, I had been putting off doing those Dr. Seuss videos for a long time, and I finally did them because I had time. And that was the thing that took off. There
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of other stuff, and it was always kind of like, oh, little successes here and there, but like nothing took off the way that did.
Yeah, that's
And
great advice. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want us to get cut off. Thank you so
Okay.
much for your time. It means the world to me and to our Amherst
Absolutely.
Ballet dancers. I hope you have a beautiful evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much, Madeleine.
Thank you for what you do. And I'll see you
best
on the
of
flip
luck.
side. Thank you.
See you on the flip side. Best of luck with the dance.
Thank you.
Can't
I'll
wait to
keep you
see it.
posted on how it goes.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye.